Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. Before we get started, I just want to say Happy Veterans Day to all those who served. You know, as the saying goes, freedom isn't free. It was paid for with a price for people that committed time and effort into the service. We have any veterans in the house? Would you please stand for me, please?
And Mr. Chair, we would like for you to stand also.
I will.
All right.
I tell you, some good days and definitely a lot of bad ones, but it was all for the greater good. Just to let everybody know before the meeting started, today is our secretary's Miss Patty Davis's birthday. I was looking over the congregation. I see Mr. Swain Whitfield, our District 5 representative from the PSC out there. Nice to see you, sir. Nice to see you. Thank you. Thank you for coming. I'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. First, we'll have today's date is Monday, November 11th, 2019 at 6 p.m. First, we'll have the approval of the agenda.
So moved.
It's been moved and properly second. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it, the approval of the agenda. Now down to our invocation. Vice Chair Goins.
Thank you, sir. Let us pray. Lord God, we honor you, we bless you, and we praise you for all things. We thank you for your faithfulness, your mercy, your grace, Lord God. We ask that you would guide and direct us according to your will. In the name of Jesus, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Vice Chair Goins. Now down to approval of our regular meeting dated October the 14th and our special meeting dated October the 21st. Do I have a motion? Second. It's been moved and properly to second. Any discussion? Yes, Mr. Bell.
Yes. On page 10 of the minutes for the October 14th, 2019, stated that Councilman Bell said it appears that the county administrator may have violated procurement code policies for purchases on the farmer's market. And that's exactly what I said. But the Voice stated on October 17th, 2019, in their article, no violation of rules, but according to the documents obtained by the Voice through Freedom of Information requests in Fairfield County's own procurement code, Taylor didn't violate any rules, which is inaccurate. On page 3 and 4 of the minutes for the special call meeting on October 21st, 2019, it is stated that the motion carried unanimously 7-0 for Mackerel Lane fee in lieu of tax incentive agreement. But the Voice printed in their article dated October 24th, 2019, with a vote of 6-1 with Councilman Trapp against, Council authorized a fee in lieu of tax incentive for Mackerel Lane. Again, inaccurate.
Mr.
Thanks to the Country Chronicle for printing it accurately.
Mr. Bell, do you have a motion? Was the agenda correct? The minutes correct on our end?
Yes, minutes correct.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? Ayes have it. Now down to our public presentations. We have item A, Ms. Debbie Stidham, Director of Voter Registration. She's introducing the new paper-based election system, Express Vote DS 200. Ms. Stidham.
Well, good evening, council and citizens of Fairfield County. It's nice to be here. I'm sorry we haven't been here sooner because we've had the system for a little while. And I will be brief tonight because I see you do have a very long agenda. But I just wanted to quickly talk about the system, how we got to where we are now, and just a few other facts that it should be a matter of public information. So, the State Election Commission okay, is that me? Okay. The State Election Commission, also with county offices and many other entities, started looking for a new voter system. And that's been a while back, as you know, and after much talk and much research that included, like I say, state and private cybersecurity experts, advocates with voters with disabilities, experts on accessible technology, and then some county directors. They finally decided on the express vote, which is the same system made by the same people that of the system we have now, or the past system we have. This system is dependable from what we're seeing, and like I said, we have not used this yet in Fairfield County other than to do a high school election. But a lot of other counties had elections this November, and from what I'm hearing, everything went really smooth and everybody seems to really like the system. We do have a machine up in the office, so please, any of y'all that would like to come by till the end of November, you can actually come in and vote a fund ballot on the system. So before you go to the polls in February, you have an opportunity to look at the system and see how it operates and actually cast a vote on the system. So please come by. We did have an open house last Tuesday. We didn't have a really big turnout. Sorry I didn't get to see any of y'all there, but it was nice. Mr. Bell did come by Friday. But we did have about 40 people that were interested in coming to see it. So, but we do have it up in the office if you want to come. This system is paper verifiable, which means you do have a paper trail, and it gives us the opportunity during audits to actually be able to have a second set of audit items, which is what the voting public seems to have wanted. So that's what we actually got, and we're really excited about it. So the new system, I do have a video. I think it would probably be really quick and easy just to show you how the system operates. If y'all will bear with us for just a second. Marvin, if you could play. I don't know how well you can see that. You insert your blank ballot, your ballot comes up on the screen, and just like the last system we have, it's actually a touch screen. So you would make your selections touching on the screen. Then you have a review section, just like the old system. Once you review it on the screen, you return the ballot, which is your paper trail. You verify that your votes are correct. And once you verify that, then you would place it in the scanner. At that point, your vote is counted. Your ballot falls into a secure ballot box, and that is kept until we need to do any audits or if we have any protests or any questions about votes. So that was just a quick overview of how it works. And like I say, you can please come by our office, and we have a fun ballot that you can play with. We might get to watch something else, I don't know. Okay, so real quick, do y'all have any questions about, I know that's kind of really brief, but any questions about the system?
Does council have any questions?
Yes, ma'am. Will you or do you have any plans to take the voting machine in the communities so that they can just see how to do it, maybe at some of these special events that's being offered?
It's really going to depend on when the event is. That's why we're having it open in our office so people can come by. We would love to take it to events. The new system, as you will see when you come to our office, is very cumbersome. It has and for lack of a better word, and I don't mean to make it sound like it's less than what it is, but the scanner it's about the size of your curbside dumpsters, what are they called, trash cans that you roll out. I mean, it's really about that size, and it's very heavy. So, but if anybody has an event and they would like for us to bring it out, if you will let us know as soon as possible so we can schedule it, because as you'll see in just a minute, we are fixing to really get busy. So, but we would love to, because we do want everybody to have an opportunity to see the system before you actually go and cast a vote on it.
Does council have any further questions?
Okay, so really quickly, and then I'm going to sit down so y'all can get on with your night. As you can see, this system, and this is not counting any extras like thumb drives that have to go into it. The system at this time is valued at about $422,000. The maintenance on it yearly is about $17,000, and we budget for that every year. That is only up about $2,000 from the maintenance on our last system. So it didn't really, maintenance didn't go up a lot at all. Logistics, storage, like I say, we don't have a whole lot of room now because this system is a whole lot bigger than what we had before. And then getting them to the precincts will be something else we'll be having to look into. Also, in January of 2017, the Department of Homeland Security designated election infrastructure as critical infrastructure. And what that means is that all of our assets, system networks, physical or virtual, are considered so vital that the incapacitation or destruction would have a debilitating effect on security, national economic security, national public health or safety, or any combination thereof. And the good thing about us getting this designation is that we have so much help now from MSISAC, Homeland Security, that in other entities, it's really upped our game as far as cybersecurity and physical security. We have taken many classes. We've had roundtable discussions with nationwide. So we are definitely, that's an ongoing thing that we do in our office and statewide to protect our elections. And so I'm going to breeze through some of this. I did give y'all a packet that has social media campaigns. Those of y'all that would like a copy of this, please let me know and I'll get you a copy of it. It's just a short little informational pamphlet, and it's put out by the cyber infrastructure. And what it does is tells you how to understand foreign interference in 5 steps. And this little piece of paper is talking about pineapple on pizza and how quickly a foreign entity can cause Americans to argue among themselves about whether or not you want pineapple on your pizza or not. And even though that seems like, why pineapple on pizza? But it just shows you how they can take one simple thing and cause Americans to believe it or to start fighting in amongst ourselves. And they do that during election time, as we know. But I will have copies available of that in my office if anybody wants it. And there again, we are a village, and we do depend on county government, federal government, state election officials, and everybody helps us with securing our elections. So, and one quick thing that I do need to talk about briefly. The Department of Justice visited Anderson County recently, and they went to all of their voting precincts, and they found multiple infractions, and all of you have a small percentage of what Anderson County received from the federal government and what they have to do to become compliant. They have 2 years to get that done. And that means you have to have accessible ramps. You have to have doors that can be open with less force than, I think it's like 3 pounds, and so on and so forth. We do not want to be Anderson County. We do not want to be Richland County. They also were visited, and they have 5 years to comply. And as you know, the Department of Justice does not play. And once they tell you you have to do something, you have to do it. So what we have done is we recently had an independent contractor to come, and he went to all of our polling locations, and you have that report in your packet that tells exactly what we need to do to make all of our polling places compliant. We've just recently put in a request for a purchase order to buy a lot of this stuff that we need to get our polling locations compliant. So after you look over that, if y'all want to call me at my office if you have any questions. And if anybody else has any questions about polling locations or accessibility, again, just give us a call. And then again, Mr. Bell, if you'll look at our election calendar, everybody says, what do y'all do? Wait for people to come and register to vote? No, you can see by our election calendar, we are very busy. And with a presidential election year coming up, we have a lot going on. So if anybody wants to have us to come out, they need to let me know pretty quick. Okay? And also, just one quick good thing is that we actually did a high school election using the new equipment at the high school, as I just said, and we were the first in the state to use the equipment for any type of election. Although it was a very small one, the high school students zoomed through it with no problem because they're young and it's very easy for them. Does anybody have any questions? I know that's very brief, but trying to get out of y'all's way.
Council,
No question, but I want to thank you, and I think all of council want to thank you for all the work you do.
Thank you.
Appreciate it very much.
I appreciate it.
Thank
Thank
you.
y'all. Thank y'all.
Now down to item B, Mr. Troy Thames, Executive Director of Boys and Girls Club of the Midlands. Did I say that right? Thames? Okay.
I'm just going to introduce him. I'm not Troy Thames. I am James Brown, and that's for real. That's my name. But Chairman Robinson, members of County Council, thank you for this opportunity to be here to share with you information on Boys and Girls Club of the Midlands, in particular Fairfield County. I am the senior consultant for Boys and Girls Clubs of the Crescent, which is about 12 counties in South Carolina. And I also serve on the board of the Midlands. So I'm going to turn it over to Troy Thames, who is the Executive Director of the Boys and Girls Club of the Midlands.
Thank you, Mr. James Brown. And the council, as well as all the community as well. I'm not going to take up very much of your time. Just wanted to come by and give you an update of who we are and what we do and tell you how we serve the young people of Fairfield County. The Boys and Girls Club of the Midlands has been serving in the Midlands area since 1959, specifically in Fairfield since 2010. What does that look like right now? In the last year, we've served 140 youth in the Fairfield area. So we're currently serving in Giger Elementary as well as Fairfield Magnet. So the two elementaries, what after school is really one of the main areas that we're serving in Fairfield right now is dismissal until 6:30. Very important part of the day. Our purpose is to give our young people a positive place to be kids, right? With great role models and give them an opportunity. We don't know what happened during their school day, and we don't necessarily know what they're going to when they go home. But our purpose is to provide them 4 hours in that evening where they can feel safe and be themselves. During that time, we have a very structured afternoon going straight into what we call Power Hour. And Power Hour is homework time for us, right? This is an educational center where we provide not only homework tutoring, right, one-on-one with adults and young people, but also educational games, right? High yield learning, having fun, but with a purpose. We do all kinds of different activities after that. So we look at the holistic approach of the young person. So we look at arts, we look at recreation, right? We actually just had a huge flag football event where members of our Giger team actually came in third place out of 18 schools. So congratulations, Giger Elementary. They were really sharp. The Carolina Panthers actually sponsored that event, and we were very happy to have them down there to participate. Performing arts, we also do Torch Club, which is, for us, is character and leadership development. This component actually is teaching, paying it forward, right? Providing service to their community. And so we last year actually had over 8,000 hours of community service for all the young people that we have in our 42 locations. So something as little as a food drive for our organization ended up serving 10,000. We had 10,000 canned goods that we provided back to our communities, and that's through the young people that we have. But we also have a program called Youth of the Year, and we identify a young person that actually represents all of our students, the 9,000 in the greater Midlands that we served last year, that represents those young people. And in the last few years, we've actually had 2 of those representatives from right here in Fairfield. Now, what does that look like? It's William and Chantel Kane is actually a brother and sister, back-to-back years. One, we once identified, they are provided a scholarship through the Boys and Girls Clubs of the Midlands, and then they actually go on to participate in a Youth of the Year competition for the entire state. This is a 3-day interview process where they meet young people from all over the state. If selected there, they go on to represent a 7-state region. If selected there, each one of these steps, there's more and more scholarship money, right? That's what you get when you're a part of Boys and Girls Club. If you make it and win the region, then you're one of 5 young people from across the country to represent the Boys and Girls Club of America. You will spend 5 days in Washington, D.C., as well as get, of course, all expense paid college tuition, and you get to meet the President of the United States, right? And it's in an election year, that's a big thing to talk about, right? So we had 2 representatives from right here in Fairfield to represent our organizations, 2012 and 13. Both of them have graduated college. One's in graduate school right now. The other one is actually working for the state of South Carolina. So something to be very proud of that's coming right out of your community. So let me tell you just a few stats, because, you know, we're very focused on fun with a purpose, right? Everything is purposeful. 97% of our participants complete their homework daily. 90% of our participants increase their math scores by 13 points. 90% increase their reading scores by an average of 14 points. 87% of our participants are earning mostly A's and B's. So when you're talking about 10,000 children, 87% of them, that's a pretty high percentage, right? And so one of the things that we also like to talk about is 98% of our young people are already talking about college. So what does that mean? So we know that our first graders, second graders may not know where they're going to college, but through our organization and through what we provide in the afternoon, they're thinking about, what's your next step? Well, I'm going to go to school, I'm going to finish high school, and then I'm going to college, right? And so giving them that path forward. So Boys and Girls Club, that's who we are, and we want to make a difference in young people's lives each and every afternoon. We thank you for giving us the opportunity to come out and share with you a little bit today. Any questions?
Not a question, but again, I want to thank you and Mr. Brown for having come. You know, we met in the library in Ridgeway to talk about all the work you're doing and the scholarships you provide for people to get into the Boys and Girls Club. But one of the things, if you can take about 30 seconds and tell us about the Teen Institute that you have in Kershaw County. Okay. Just a snippet.
Will do. Thank you for the lead in. So in Kershaw County, we actually have a teen facility that is the old Jackson High School, which is directly across the street from Camden High School. And in that community, there was this was born out of some violent crime that happened in the community that many of the community members said, we need a place for our teens to be in the afternoon. We need a positive place for our young people. So we started working with the superintendent, many of the community members, and ended up going in and renovating and opening up a teen center inside the Jackson High School, where now we call it the Jackson Teen Center, which is located directly across the street from Camden High School. Each and every afternoon, we provide job readiness power hour. We got a recording studio in there. We got a coffee lounge. We got a performance stage, providing opportunities for young people. We serve about 250 teens, and I mean teens, every single afternoon, 6th grade through high school, providing these opportunities where we find that young person and expose them to many things, help them to guide them on a path that's going to set them up for success. They may or may not be getting that at home or during the school day, but during those hours, again, from dismissal till 6:30, we're there to provide that with a curriculum that is developed not only through our Boys and Girls Club of the Midlands, but also through our national organization, where they are all tried and true curriculum-based programs.
Does council have any further questions?
I want to thank you so much for the work that you're doing, and want to also ask, your location here in Fairfield County, how far is your outreach as far as drawing young people in, and is there anything that we can do to help?
Great question. We're currently serving at Giger Elementary and Fairfield Magnet Elementary in the afternoons. We have spoken with Fairfield Elementary to expand that reach. But as far as what we could do next, we spoke with Mr. Bell about, maybe identifying locations where could be a place. Obviously to operate a teen center, there would need to be funding for it. The teen programs aren't one that would be really bringing in revenue, so we would need to see what we could do as a community to come together to provide that opportunity. So next steps, I couldn't tell you exactly what it is, but I think it's keeping us in mind, looking at facilities, what are opportunities out there for us. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Thames.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Now down to item C. Be Mr. Stevens from Chamber of Commerce.
Good evening, Councilman Robinson, Council, Mr. Taylor, Ms. Davis. I want to thank Chairman Robinson for giving me an opportunity to speak real quick. I will say, I just want to add this, the Boys and Girls Club, I'm a former coach for 14 years. I never worried about my kids when they were with me, but I worried about them when they left me and then what they were doing till they got to me. So I appreciate everything y'all do. I just wanted to give a short wrap up of our Rock Around the Clock Festival. We had it at the 1st of October, and it was awesome. Friday night we had one of the largest street dances we've ever had. Had the McEwen Band out of Nashville. They came. We had a large crowd. Had over 11 food vendors, a bunch of artisans, different things like that. Had a really good time. Had no issues at all as far as, with crowds or anything like that. I actually want to thank Public Safety for doing a phenomenal job of, providing us protection. On Saturday was great too, even if it started off with some rain. It's kind of wet. We were worried about the crowd. Still had probably 130 cars, a large crowd. The entertainment guys told me that's one of the steadiest crowds they had that whole time. Even for the festival itself, I had to tell the food vendors at 3 o'clock or 3:15 to stop selling food because people were still buying, and I knew it was about to dump. I wanted the town guys to be able to come in and clean up. So and it was just a phenomenal event. Again, Saturday the same thing. There was no drama, no incidents, nothing. It's just a fun weekend. I hope everybody was able to come out and enjoy it. I want to say our staff did a phenomenal job. Susan, Dylan, they made it so easy. I could actually ride around, enjoy the day, which when you're putting something on, that's hard to do. But it was, everything was so organized. We could have fun. I even saw Miss Gowen's daughter out there dancing Friday night because it in her her full uniform. So it was a phenomenal night. Just a great time. Great time for the event. Bob, Janice, Sam did a great job with the car show. Just an outstanding production from top to bottom. I want to thank the county for always supporting us. in everything we do, the town of Winsboro for supporting us, letting us be able to put on this great event for the citizens. And I want to thank the citizens of Fairfield County. This is stuff we do for you all, and it's you make it. Being able to come to these events, enjoy the events. I hope everyone was able to come, enjoy it. If you didn't come, please come next time, because we're always just. I'll be honest, it was just a fun event, a very fun event. And I just want to mention just a couple quick things before I leave. And if I forgot to thank somebody, I apologize. My head gets going sometimes. Just some things coming up. November 30th, we have Shop Small Saturday. Please support your local small businesses. We're going to be doing some promotions. December 1st, you got the Ridgeway Christmas Parade. December 8th, you got the Winsboro Christmas Parade and tree lighting. December 14th, we're going to have our holiday market in downtown Winsboro, and I believe the merchants in Ridgeway might be doing something as well. I got to get with them to find out. And the last thing I'm going to mention is on December 5th, we're having our Christmas drop-in, the Chamber Christmas drop-in. It's going to be at the farm in Ridgeway from 5:30 to 7. I would encourage you all to come. It's for everybody. It's not just chamber members, not just councilmen. It's for everybody. Just come, get some free food. You'll see the representatives from True Vista. I met with them, and they want everybody to come. If we get the bigger the crowd, the better. Just come, get some a good meal, get to see the farm in Ridgeway, which is a beautiful facility, and just a nice time to just hang out and kind of welcome the Christmas season. So,
Thank you, Mr. Stevens. Does council have any questions, comments, remarks? Thank you for what you do.
thank you.
Now down to our first public comment session. Ms. Davis, anyone signed to speak?
We have 3 who wish to speak. First, Ms. Jackie Wortman, speaking on reaching workers.
Good evening, and before I start, you all should know because you're on council. We had a teen institute here in Fairfield County for many, many years, ran by the chairman's uncle, Danny Miller.
That's true.
I know it is. All right, I'm ready. 3 o'clock. You didn't supposed to start right then. But good evening, Chairman Robinson and council members. Jackie Workman, District 4. It's November 11, 2019, the 21st century. The part-time workers of the recycling centers are human beings working part-time to earn monies toward their living expenses. The workers have worked for minimum wage for the last 10 years. Employees that have been looked down upon, left out, and forgotten, while other employees get paid and pay increases every year, and some individual raises before the year comes around. Because they are part-time, this is more of a reason for an hourly increase. I am asking that you, County Council, increase the recycling workers' employees' part-time pay to $10 an hour. I can imagine some may be thinking 50 cents or 75 cents is better than nothing. Be thankful. Let's say, what if this was you or your family member making $7.25 or $8 an hour, a grown man with a family in the cold, they have to work, assisting citizens, working with incredible, vigor, smelling trash for meager wages. The administrator makes at least a minimum of $10,000 on a monthly basis. Is this fairness in Fairfield County? Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, Mr. Jeff Schaefer, speaking on inducements.
Good evening, council members. Inducements, resolutions providing for a fee in lieu of tax, and an ordinance to amend ordinance number 1714, the animal control, which, by the way, that conversation already happened at 4 o'clock this afternoon. So it was on the schedule to be done, but we've already done it. I don't understand that, but I don't understand a lot of things. Let me paraphrase a statement that I read, and it says that you're setting aside $300,000 for future purchase of 50 acres or so that meets necessary requirements for said property to be used as a suitable location for wastewater treatment site or other uses deemed fit by Fairfield. So when we're talking about fit, is that wastewater treatment a decision to make the sanitary wastewater deemed as no health risk to the public? I'm just making an assumption. Then my question is, what happens to the section of the county that has water provided by the Jenkinsville Water Company, which has been proven to have cancerous water supply, E. coli, filthy water, and more often than I care to drink, my dogs have gotten cancer and died. My wife has gotten cancer. My neighbors also have gotten cancer, all using the water supply, which DHEC has stated that on certain levels of guidelines, they risk and expose the public to cancerous water. And it continues to operate under the same management, Mr. Guignard's little fiefdom for the last 15 years, without a change in the guard. You know what they say about power, and of course, absolute power. Something needs to be done about providing healthy water at a reasonable charge to the public, and it has to be done soon. The county needs to take that over. And I'm going to run out of time, but there's a lot I'd like to say. I'm going to let it ride because I don't want to get arrested tonight. So I'll just bow out right now, and you'll understand that we need to do something. We need to do it right now and take it seriously. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, Mr. Randy Bright, speaking on the animal ordinance.
Randy Bright, Ridgeway, District 1, Fairfield County. First of all, I'd like to thank the council and administration for taking on their pledge to renew the vigor of our animal abuse laws. We've talked many times the importance of this, and of course one of the main importance of it is that animal abuse more often than anything else leads to human abuse. That being said, I really like the step that you first took tonight. I have some additional suggestions. Number one, no matter what laws you pass, if we don't have a working relationship with the solicitor's office, it's not going to happen. It's not going to get enforced. And we've had, quite frankly, poor enforcement of the existing laws from the solicitor's office in the past. And if we don't have enforcement of these laws to a justifiable level, they won't be deterrents and they won't be education. And in fact, they'll be encouragement to those who would abuse animals and then later on abuse human beings. So let's take that first step. That first step being get the solicitor's office on board. Let them know that we're serious about animal abuse. Let them know, we're willing to work with them. What do we need to put in our laws so that they can more easily enforce them and bring justice to our animal abuse situation? Another aspect of the reference that you can turn to is the Animal Defense League Fund. The Animal Defense League Fund can give training, can give advice, and more importantly, can give guidance on what type of laws will be constitutional and what type of laws that can be enforceable, and give you a lot of help there. We just can't do it all by ourselves. Another great resource is the National Association of Sheriffs. They have a particular project underway right now, and they've had it for a few years, and it addresses the segue between animal violence and human violence. They even have training for officers that come to an animal abuse scene and train the officers. They even have an app for this that can tell the officers, look for this, look for that, which also might lead to, which is so very often, domestic abuse at animal abuse scenes. So there's a lot of resources out there, and I'm glad you've taken the first step. But these resources that I mentioned, by the way, I sent another one to Patty, and if you're interested on the states that are ranked the best and states that are ranked the worst and what laws make them stand out as opposed to other counties or other states, you can reference these laws and look at it. So use all the resources because you're trying to do it right. Let's use all the resources to do it right. Thank you.
Thank you.
That concludes segment 1.
Now down to item 7A, our public hearings. Item A, an ordinance authorizing the execution and delivery of a fee agreement by and between Fairfield County, South Carolina, and New Nightingale LLC, providing for a payment of a fee in lieu of taxes and other matters related thereto. I'm gonna open this public hearing at 6:41. Ms. Davis, anyone sign to speak?
We have 2 speakers. First, Mr. Jeff Schaefer.
Do we have anything left in the bank in fee of lieu of? We're giving everything away. Why didn't you give it away when I was coming? Or say, don't come, and I wouldn't have come if you paid me. What we do now is we don't have a consistency of how to get companies to come and have an expectation. Well, the people don't know that we have an expectation. You come, you bring your company, you have 200 employees, you're going to be here for 10 years, 20 years, and we give them what are we giving them? We're giving them a free ride for a period of time on a certain level. And on the other level, there's in lieu of, instead of, we're going to let you pay this much. Is it equal to the taxes? Are we all aware of that? I'm not. And if it is, let us know. I think that part of the misunderstanding that I have is I don't understand how much we're losing or are we gaining by this in lieu of. And I personally would like to see a little more information when we do these things so that everybody understands this is what's happening, this is what we're doing. You don't have to mention the name of the company. It's just X is doing this, and we're going to have this as a result. If you did that, I think we'd all be a little bit more at ease to understand what the process is in order for a company to come to Fairfield County and be productive and proactive and employ people, and we'll all be happy. And by the way, if you haven't been online at Burger King, they're going to be putting McDonald's out. I mean, they got a line out there. Did they come in fee in lieu of, or did they? No, they're paying a tax, huh? Well, that was a good choice. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Mr. Randy Bright.
Randy Bright, District 1, Ridgeway, Fairfield County. I'm aligned with Jeff here, and what I'm asking is I'm really piggybacking on what he said, is I'd like to see in these presentations, I understand there's a lot of non-disclosure stuff and that sort of thing, but some of the things where we can, I too would like to see an ROI. For example, we give them this amount of reduction in taxes, they pay us some upfront money, they're going to generate this many jobs and this much income for Fairfield County. What's our ROI return on this investment? If you guys can do that, that tells me you've thought it through. If you can't do it and don't have any kind of projection, and I realize you can't be exact, then I am a little concerned, about our thinking here. I like the fact that our economic development is going after businesses and capturing companies to move here. I like the fact that the county just set an all-time low for unemployment. I like all these things, and I like the general direction and a lot of the stuff that's happening. But I would like to see some ROI in advance, not for me so much, not for them so much, but for more than anything else for you guys. And it would tell us, well, you've thought this through. You've come to this agreement because this is what's going to happen. And I think that's pretty much what Jeff was saying, too. We didn't even discuss this beforehand, but let us know what kind of ROI we expect. And if you can't let us know why. And, if it's a reasonable explanation, we can understand that. But at some point down the line, you can give us an ROI. And I would hope that you would. So give us an ROI, let us know the length of time that this ROI covers and what all it covers and what type of investment, what type of income is generated through employees that are hired. And this should happen within the approval process before we even make any agreements or even start to make an agreement. We need to find out a starting base where what we need from this company to ensure that our investment in that company, because we're investing in that company, pays off. But again, thanks for moving the general move forward. Just get us an RFI, be sure we're all in the right direction and we're doing our homework with these investments. Thank you.
Thank you. No one else signed to speak.
Thank you. Does council have anything? If not, I'll just say it. We under a strict NDA on this one, so can't be discussed. We'll go ahead and close that public hearing at 6:46. Now down to item B, an ordinance authorizing the execution and fee and delivery of a fee in lieu of tax and incentive agreement by and between Fairfield County, South Carolina and Macrolang, North America, LLC, with respect to certain economic development property in the county whereby such property will be subject to certain payments in lieu of taxes, including the provision of certain special source credits, authorizing the provision of an economic development grant and other matters related thereto. I'll go ahead and open this public hearing up at 6:46. Ms. Davis, anyone signed to speak?
One speaker, Mr. Randy Bright.
Randy Bright, District 1, Fairfield County, Ridgeway. Again, thanks again, Economic Development Team, Council, Administration. Thanks again for not only recruiting businesses here, but keeping businesses here, which may even be more important. I don't know. But thank you for that. The only thing I ask is let's hear the details where you can. And again, non-disclosure, I understand, but at some time, please give us the details when the deal comes to fruition. And as far as the MECRA plant, I'd like to know the details too, if you can. If you can't, let us know why. And then when it comes time, let us know then. Let the public know the ROI on its tax dollars. But thanks again for moving us forward. Keep us informed with the ROI today, tomorrow, shortly. Thank you.
Thank you. No one else signed to speak.
Thank you. We'll go ahead and close this public hearing at 6:48. Now down to ordinances, resolutions, and orders. Item A, third and final reading, orders number 731. We're going to go ahead and defer until after executive session. Also, along with item B, third and final reading, orders number 732. That will be deferred till after executive session as well. Ms. Davis, would you mind reading item C, please?
First reading by title only, ordinance number 734, an ordinance to amend the Fairfield County Land Management Ordinance number 599 to provide for the zoning reclassification from I-1 Industrial District to B-2 General Business District of 21.4 acres owned by Gerald and Kathleen Shannon, applicant, tax map number 1840000053000. Property is located at Cook Road, Ridgeway, South Carolina, 29130.
Mr. Chair, I move for adoption.
Motion's been made and properly seconded. There is no discussion on first reading. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it, 7-0. Now down to item D, first reading by title only, ordinance number 735. Ms. Davis.
An ordinance authorizing Fairfield County to purchase a portion of real property identified as Fairfield County TMS 1340200002000, containing 2.224 acres more or less. Said property now or formerly of the chapel at Lake Watery Presbyterian Church, USA, for public use or other uses deemed fit by Fairfield County Council and other related matters.
All right, you've read, first reading 735 has been read. Do I have a motion? It's been moved and properly seconded. There is no discussion. First reading, ordinance 735. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Nay. That's 2 nays, am I correct? 5 in favor, 2 nay. All right, item E, I understand we do have a recusal. We have a recusal by Mr. Douglas. Just give him a few seconds.
Is that recusal documented?
Yes, sir, it is. Now it's in the minutes.
An ordinance authorizing Fairfield County to accept the conveyance of 1 acre more or less located at 1134 Kincaid Bridge Road in Winsboro, Fairfield County, South Carolina, with TMS 1250401009000, to be used for public good or other uses deemed fit by Fairfield County Council and other related matters.
Do I have a motion? It's been moved and properly second. All those in favor?
Nay.
Any opposed?
Nay.
1, 2, 3. It's approved 4-2 and recusal of Mr. Douglas. Yeah, you get him back in for me, please. Thank you, Mr. Douglas. Now down to item F, first reading by title only, ordinance number 737, and ordinance to amend ordinance number 714 to establish the rules and regulation pertaining to animal control in Fairfield County and revise Chapter 4, Animals of the Code of Ordinances, Fairfield County, South Carolina. Do I have a motion?
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Once again, there is no discussion because this is the first reading. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Now down to item G, first reading by title only, ordinance number 738, an ordinance authorizing Fairfield County to purchase real property containing at least 50 acres and not costing more than $300,000 that meets the necessary requirements for said property to be used as a suitable location for the wastewater treatment site or other uses deemed fit by Fairfield County Council and other related matters. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Chair. Okay, seconded.
It's been moved by Mr. Douglas and seconded by Mr. Bell. Once again, there is no discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Approved 6-1. Now down to item H. I'm sorry, we're going to defer that one also till after executive session. Now down to item I, resolution number 2019-12. Ms. Davis, if you would, please.
Consenting to the participation and addition of a sponsor affiliate to that certain fee agreement between Fairfield County, South Carolina and Healthcare SC LCC, dated as of January 28, 2019, consenting to the participation and addition of a project affiliate to that certain infrastructure credit agreement between Fairfield County, South Carolina and Healthcare SC LCC, dated as of January 28, 2019, and other related matters.
Do I have a motion? It's been moved and properly seconded. If we could we have our county attorney give us a description, please, discussion?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, members of council, what you have before you in resolution number 2019-12, this is a sponsor affiliate resolution. There's already been a fee in lieu of tax agreement that Fairfield County has entered into with an entity known as Healthcare US. They have a subsidiary corporation that they also want to have to be able to invest money into the property, and then allow that to also count towards the fee in lieu of tax agreement provisions. This is a standard document that the county has previously passed before in relation to other fee low agreements as well.
Any further discussion from council? Mr. Taylor, you got anything further?
No, sir.
What was the discussion?
I was just seeing if any other information could be offered other than the legal explanation, but at this time, no.
Okay.
I guess he's not going to be able to break it down Barney for some of us, I guess.
We good.
Okay. No further discussion. All those in favor? Any opposed? It's approved. Resolution number 2019-12, 7-0. Item 9, Board and Commission minutes. We received as information. Does council have any questions in reference to behavioral health or disability and special needs? If not, No board and commission appointments, no old business, no new business. Now down to our county administrator support, Mr. Taylor.
Yes, thank you. The first item I do have up tonight is a request for action, and this is from Solid Waste, and this is to increase the recycling attendance pay. It is true that this particular category of employees they're temporary employees, and they have long been overlooked in any type of raises. Currently, they are at $7.25 and have been at that rate for approximately 10 years. So we are looking to, and this has been before Finance Committee and has been recommended to increase it to $8 an hour. That would have a fiscal impact of $26,481 on the county's budget, and that we did not budget for that, obviously. So it would come out of our reserves of our general fund.
Do I have a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move that we go to $8.50 per hour for the attendance pay rate. If I can get a second.
Second. A motion's been made by Mr. Bell to go to $8.50 an hour and seconded by Mr. Trapp. Any discussion? No discussion. Mr. Taylor, or I know it's on the spot, but could we get a breakdown of?
Have that number calculated also. Again, the $8 an hour would go up $26,481. That's what it would cost the county in their budget. Going to $8.50 would take us from $26,481 to $44,135.
So is there any further discussion from council? Because this isn't the original. Mr. Bell made a motion to go up to $8.50.
It would come out of our reserves. Yes, ma'am.
Any further discussion from council? If not, all those in favor? Any opposed?
Neutral.
Hold on, let's do a handful. All those in favor? It's 3 in favor. All those against?
Not against the
Well,
pay raise, but it would leave it at 8.
Let's entertain the motion first, I guess. All those in favor? Raise the hands. That was 3. For the 850. 4, 5, 6. All right.
In favor of what?
Going up to 850 versus 8.
I reckon they deserve it.
All right. All right. It's approved unanimously to go up to. It's approved unanimously. Yes, sir.
The vote is over, and I know this is probably highly irregular, but one of the things the people complained and said they had not gotten a raise, and they had not gotten a raise for 10 years, and I know and we talked about $8, and I did. I went to Mr. Robinson and Mr. Taylor, try to make sure we get this to work for us. Now, one of the things Ms. Workman talked about is being at $10. Yes, we got it. I looked at the numbers. They did the analysis. Okay, and I'm good with it with $8.50 for currently, but I do believe that we got to make sure we move these people up. Okay, but again, this is some pretty good work. I know some people might not think it is, but I want to thank Mr. Robinson and Mr. Taylor for working with me and trying to get this done. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bell. Is there any further discussion from council? I think we already voted, but now that is 44. What was the last 3 numbers?
$44,135.
That's right, because no fringe or benefits comes with that, correct?
Right.
Okay. All right.
Next item we have, unfortunately, is another unbudgeted item. We have taken this to the Finance Committee also. I will ask Mr. Mike Tanner, our EMS Director, to come up and go over the details of this. We find ourselves in a situation where we have another ambulance that has gone down. He has a proposal to avoid having to purchase a new ambulance to replace that. But he does not want to repair the existing ambulance either. I think he wants to go out and purchase a different model, which has been a more proven model for us. It has lasted longer. Mr. Tanner, would you explain?
Yeah, what I'm trying to do is get rid of all of our old fleet, which are the internationals. You see these big trucks, and they ride terrible in the back. They're not good for patients. They're definitely not sound as far as mechanical issues go. Because right now I've got 2 trucks under 100,000 miles.
When you say not good, could you clarify that?
Well, let's just say it doesn't give the best ride in the world because it's old technology. I mean, that's what the best at the time they had, and it's old airbags. It's terrible. I won't. Yeah, I mean, and they're bad because, like I said, it's old airbags, and that was the best technology at the time. Now it's a liquid spring technology that I'm trying to replace all these old ambulances with. And if anybody's had the opportunity to ride in one compared to the other, there's no comparison. It's a lot more comfortable for the patients, and it just provides better quality for the patients of Fairfield County if we can get rid of all these older trucks that we have. And this will allow us to get one of the road rescues that has the liquid spring technology in the back, which rides great. I mean, it's
And the cost, let's get to the cost.
the cost. Like I said, we have different options. We can buy a whole new truck. It'll cost about $234,000, which will take about 6 to 8 months to get because they have to build it from scratch. We can replace this with a used road rescue, which is the technology that we want and that we currently have that's current with our newest fleet. And that'll be $54,927, which I can get in 1 week. So the turnaround's
That
a
is the
marked
option
difference
the
on
Finance
that.
Committee recommended.
Yes, and that's what I'm recommended, and the Finance Committee, I do believe, recommended as well. Or, we can do nothing and we'll be down another truck, which right now I'm down 4 trucks because we had 1 burn up. I want 1 blown engine. I've got 2 in the shop right now, so I really need them.
And all of them are international?
No, when we get rid of this one, we'll be down to 4. And then the rest are the Dodge Road Rescues, which would be, we've got 11 in total, so.
I also move that we accept.
Just 1 sec.
Mr. Tanner, what kind of preventive maintenance do we do on these vehicles, and how often do they get service at the maintenance shop?
The maintenance shop has a schedule for every truck, and we keep track of it electronically. We automatically get an email when that mileage gets close, so we never miss a scheduled PM. Anytime there's any kind of issues with warning lights or anything, we take it to the county maintenance shop, and if they can handle it in-house, they do so, or otherwise they send it down to Columbia to have it repaired. But all of them are maintenance on a regular basis.
And you said the motor blew up in this one?
Yeah. The cost for repairing the motor in this is $23,000, or just under $23,000.
Well, this is an action item, so I think Mr. Bell, you's gonna make a motion.
I so move to accept.
Second.
Mr. Bell moved to
Accept the
approve. I
request for
think
action.
Mr. Douglas seconded. Any discussion?
I might have missed the price. What was the total price?
For the replacement,
Yeah.
it's $54,927 plus the $500 with the sales tax.
With tax, got that tax in there.
Yeah, tax is in there.
All right. Any further discussion from council?
This is coming out the fund balance.
Out to reserves, yes.
No, but the liquid spring is the latest technology for.
Let Mr.
All those in favor? Any opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
The next item we have, Mr. Calder and Mr. Hartzog, if you all would come up to help with the explanation on this particular item. Solid waste, and we have talked about this, and we've known it's a problem, and that's why we've looked at the incinerator for some time now. But we are at a situation where we're at the chipper site. We have more than we can store legally by DHEC standards, or we're approaching that level, I should say. And so we have got to stop. We've got to put a moratorium on taking any more until we can clean the site up. Not only that, we have had the fire service called out twice because these brush piles have caught on fire, and they will spontaneously combust. So we've got to stop until we can get the site clean. We will have some exceptions to the moratorium. Personal waste, we can continue to take that yard waste and things, but the commercial haulers, we cannot for a period of time. We will continue to take the towns, however. We agreed that we would do that with them. And we also are going to put into effect a fee. and if you all could explain the timeframes on this and how you're handling the logistics of it.
Mr. Taylor, before this start, I just want to ask you one question. Could we take any of this stuff into people, if people want any of this, could we take it to them?
Well, I'll let you all address that.
I think we did check on that, and there were some legal concerns there. So we can't take it to citizens at their property.
Okay.
So basically what we're going to do is work towards getting a fee in place, as council has already approved previously. It'll be about $20 per ton for commercial vendors coming into the site. They'll have to check in at the weigh station, which is up near Public Works office, and then they'll get a ticket with their weight on it, and they'll take it then to the site. The gate will be shut for the most part, so we can keep out anybody, without monitoring their dumping at the site. So just, and we're probably, I would say 2 to 3 weeks away from, implementing the billing part of it. Right now, we're just trying to make room. We just are about at our limits up there.
And to make room, we're hauling.
We have, started hauling some mulch to a recycling center off of Fairfield Road to make room. As Mr. Taylor said, we've had a couple of mulch fires start there, with the weather changing, and it holds moisture, so it'll create fire once the heat gets to it. But we have started to make room so we can take some more debris, and once we get enough room, then we'll start letting the commercial vendors come back in.
Another question. We got that 31 acres down there in Ridgeway. Would it make sense to take some of this stuff and put it there, let it rot?
Well, you can't, you have to be permitted to store. I think it's like 400 cubic yards, maybe not much. You can't take much down.
Okay.
Is there a charge for it's going to Richland County?
Yes, ma'am. So right now it's like $18.25 per ton. And right now we've taken 24 loads. I don't know if we hauled any today, but as of this morning, it was 24 loads. It's about $2,500 worth that we have taken so far.
Okay.
And we are planning on taking more, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And we'll be charging 20 for incoming.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Okay. Does council have any further questions, comments?
Should we charge more?
I think that rate was based off.
It's based off of what council approved
Was
months ago.
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you, Mr. Bryant.
All right.
Mr. Taylor.
Industry appreciation. We have finally set a date for industry appreciation. We've bounced the date around several times, but it will be December 12th of this year at the farm in Ridgeway. Ty, do you have any more to add? What times? Any other details?
6:30 to 9:30.
But we're looking at on the 10th though, right? Too.
Checking on the availability, yeah.
Okay.
It's going to move again. Okay. I know we've moved it a number of days, but we'll bring back if it's a change.
Okay.
And then we had a request from the Midlands Fatherhood Coalition, which has been tabled.
Yeah, we tabled that, so I told them they can wait till. So
that's all I had.
All right. There is no clerk to council's report. Now down to our second comment session. Ms. Davis.
We have 6 who wish to speak. First, Mr. Gregory Ginyard, speaking on community development.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, ladies, gentlemen of council. I'm Greg Ganyard. I'm presently the mayor of the town of Jenkinsville. There's some concerns that came into our community that I was asked to come to you and ask you about. The thing is, over at the V.C. Summers Nuclear Station, where the abandoned reactors were, there's an understanding that there's a NextEra Energy, and they're planning to put a gas plant at the summer station. Now, this is rumor. I'm here to ask about it, to clear it up. People in my community are asking me about it. So I'm here to ask council about it. Now, we're understanding that, it's supposed to create some jobs and it's supposed to create a large tax base and all of this, but we're now sitting on a nuclear plant. And to have a gas plant right next door to a nuclear plant, that's something that we feel that we should have some input on, if it's real. So I'm here to say to you, is it real? Because my constituency, my community would like to know. We live there. Our roots are there. I don't know, but I understand that it's been a couple of readings on this. This is what I've been hearing. The council has not actually came out and said gas plant, but it's been kind of disguised, and there's been 2 readings. A third reading finalizes it without the community knowing anything about it. Just think that's totally wrong if that's the case. So I'm here in the mayor capacity for Jenkinsville and as a citizen in the Jenkinsville community to ask council, what are we doing? Is this just total rumor, no truth to it, or is it real? We really would like to know. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Ms. Shirley Green, speaking on county.
Shirley Green, District 2, Ridgeway. This is the first opportunity that I've had to speak since you reinstated the second comment section for County Council agenda. There are a lot of issues in Fairfield County that need to be addressed, and I'm sure that each day you work really hard to try to address those issues. For the first time, the idea of not allowing citizens to express their views has brought many opposing groups together. I hope this is the first time and the first opportunity that many have to come together to address the needs of Fairfield County residents, to improve the quality of life of Fairfield County residents. Things that we need to address: lack of population growth, lack of adequate health care, health disparities, small business development, lack of affordable housing, blight, distribution of resources, honesty and transparency. Community forums designed to review relevant data for each area of interest would be a first start. Public-private partnerships are necessary to move this county forward. We're stronger together. You may continue to fight for your political views, but come together to fight for your community. I appreciate your time and dedication that you give in being involved in representative government. I know that your job is not easy, but we of course want to move forward. So please think about ways that we can move Fairfield County forward.
Thank you. Next, Ms. Tangi Bryce Jacobs, speaking on ordinance.
Good afternoon, Chairman,
Good afternoon.
Council, and the citizens of Fairfield County. My name is Tangi Bryce Jacobs, District 3. Normally, I do not write anything down and I speak from my heart. So I'm going to turn this over and I'm going to speak from my heart again. I live in Blair by the VC Summer plant, and I heard the rumor as well. So I need to know, and the people on the western side need to know, is it true that this council is considering placing a gas utility company near a nuclear plant site? I need to understand this. And if some of you read my Focus on Fairfield Facebook, so let's focus on Fairfield. I've attended some of these meetings where people have expressed the way ordinances are worded. They're not clear, or they're covered, or we just don't understand. Let me remind you all that y'all work for us. We are your employer. You are not ours. And the decisions that you make concerning our money, our safety, and the welfare, we hold you accountable, and we can fire you by voting. So, my question to this council, is it true? And I expect an answer. I demand an answer, because the citizens need to know if this council is voting to put a gas plant near a nuclear site. I will expect an answer in about, 7 to 10 days? Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next, Ms. Jackie Wortman, speaking on vision.
Amen. Good evening, Chairman Robinson and council members. Jackie Wortman, District 4. Councilman Goins, is it true that there is a proposal?
Ms. Workman, if
Yes.
you could just address me, please.
No, I'm not.
You have to address me.
Where is that in writing that I have to address you? And I want to know legally, why can't we address our council members by names? And that's a FOIA request, okay? And as Ms. Bryce said, I expect it in 7 to 10 days in writing, and I'll fill the form out. Councilman Goins, is it true that there is a proposal to place a potentially hazardous project at the nuclear power plant, Unit 2 or 3, because the lines are already in place? See, I know that. I'm requesting that I get a response in writing. To my knowledge, there has been no community meetings held to inform the citizens in District 4. Secondly, also, you, County Council, continue to disappoint me and misrepresent the citizens of Fairfield County. For the last 8 months, we have been misled, misinformed, deceived, hoodwinked, and taken for a ride. Checks was issued without council approval, money spent without council approval, totaling $200,000 or more. Yet, no action has been taken. Violations have been broken. Administrative leave is next in line until all issues has been resolved. All employees should be treated equal, not fair, because you know there's no fairness in Fairfield. The administrator admitted to the many questions asked by Councilman Bell at the last meeting for all to hear. Therefore, the citizens are asking that the administrator be placed on administrative leave until issues has been resolved by the Ethics Commission, SLED, and the Attorney General. Months ago, the former deputy administrator was asked to resign or he would be terminated because of a SLED investigation. Same issue, different color. As citizens, we are requesting results of Mr. Anderson's investigation by SLED, and thank you.
Next, Mr. Jeff Schaefer, speaking on pride.
Let's talk about problems and solutions. People always have them, and when they get solved, people continue to create new problems. I have to believe that the fate of the human species, a future that looks different, doesn't necessarily negate the past or the positive values that are passed on from one generation to the other. My concern is a value system we seem to be losing in this county and in the country. If we don't learn from our history, we are definitely doomed to repeat it. And history has taught us those who can see that lesson, that bigotry and hatred only leads to more bigotry and hatred. If it's not the color of your skin, then it's your religion that you believe in. If it's not your religion or the color of your skin, then your political party that you support, or the car that you drive, or the school that you go to. We could find anything to get the hate stirred up. And when you think about that, you have to ask yourself, is that who I want to be? Is that what God put me on this earth to be part of? In my case, I speak only for myself. The answer is no. I want to do better with my life, and I want to teach my children there's a better way for us to respect each other and learn how to get along. I own a moral compass, and it points straight line, right and wrong. Your line may be shorter, longer, or deeper, but we all have a line of tolerance. In this room where the laws and the ordinances of the county and the community are being prepared and debated and passed, I ask only we state for the record in our bylaws that no person be permitted to serve the community in a public manner if they have a criminal record. That goes back to learning from history. We don't put the fox in the chicken house, even if it's a pretty fox that can con the socks off a chicken. We don't permit sex offenders to be council members. A felonious sex offender is not the ideal representative of my community or this county. And what does that say about us? It says we've lowered the bar of what we want so low, it's buried beneath reality and sadness. Others aren't going to agree with me, that's fine. But I'm not ashamed of what I support. I never have been, I never will be. And I'd like to have that law or ordinance passed tonight, or a motion made, that felons of any kind cannot be elected as a county council member and can't serve the community. And I think that's just plain common sense. We don't need criminals telling us how to operate. Thank you.
Next, Mr. Randy Bright, speaking on ramblings.
Randy Bright, District 1, Ridgeway, Fairfield County. There's been much said tonight and at other times about moving the county forward, and a lot of good specifics have been included in moving the county forward. But there's even more been written by experts, the consultants that we've paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to since at least back to 2008. And we have at least 6 consultants' advice to this county. And we have one very universal thread. That very universal thread is you ain't going anywhere until you get sewer and water. You can't grow the county. You can't bring businesses in. You can't bring development in. And then if you don't get that, you don't get small businesses. You can't bring housing in. You can't get people to live here, which is also in every one of these consultants' reports since 2001. It's a subtext to you have to have sewer and water. And even though it's been there in front of us, and this includes a consultation from the COG, not the one that they paid for, but the one that they did separately for all the counties in their group. And that emphasized priority. You got to get sewer and water. All that, and I've been critical at times of this council, but also been praiseworthy. And one thing I will have to say, this is the first council ever that has truly considered moving forward with sewer and water with the penny sales tax. That's the only way you're going to finance it, is through the penny sales tax. We know we have to have it. Nothing else happens unless we have the sewer and water. And if God help us if we ever have a drought and don't have progress towards that line. But we won't get the mega site filled. We won't get a lot of things done. We won't get people to live here unless we have sewer and water. And the only way to finance that is through the penny sales tax. If we would have done this when we did FFC back in 2013, we would now have an estimated $12 million towards that bank of sewer and water. Now, my admonishment to you guys is, you've been talking about it, and that's great, and been working towards it. We got to put it together so we can get a referendum. Every day that goes by, we lose money and time towards sewer and water, which everyone in this room, everyone out there in TV land, all you guys know, we've got to have sewer and water to move forward. That's without a doubt. So please, continue to do your due diligence, get it right, get the referendum on board. It's an investment that, as citizens, we don't have to invest all of that money. Outside people help us pay for that in the sales tax. So stay focused on sewer and water and get the job done and get the referendum going, and then so we can all vote for it and move on. Thank you, and move forward.
That concludes segment 2.
Thank you. Now down to county council time. Would any council member like to be recognized? Mr. Douglas.
Thanks to Fairfield Artist Co-op, Fairfield Property Real Estate, Kathy Falk with Hoof and Paws, and generous donors for donations of around $10,000 for emergency situations at Fairfield Animal Shelter. If we had to vote on that tonight, I'd probably have 2 to vote nay.
Thank you, Mr. Douglas. Councilmember Bell.
Yes, I guess it was about 2 months ago. I raised some concerns in this room about giving out information that's when you're in negotiation, how people get information. Let me tell you something. When people get information, even if the information is false, it's a danger, especially when you're in negotiation with business. If we are doing that, we need to stop it now. This is a terrible thing, okay? Now, the next thing I plan to do tonight was to read from the Fairfield County Procurement Manual and read all the stuff that people are made false and misleading statements about. But this is not the time to do that. But what I do want to do is last Wednesday, I want to thank the Red Cross, the State Fire, Mr. Jason Pope, Sylvia Harris, myself, and the firefighters led by Melissa Adams for all their help in putting up smoke alarms in District 1. We placed, I think it was around 167 alarms with 33 homes, and this work is not finished as of yet. So again, I want to thank those people for doing so. Again, there's, in our rural communities, there's just a lot of work to do. Okay, we need resources to be able to get it done in order that we might take this county forward. And we got to think about these kinds of things with, Matthew 25, and I know we oftentimes quote the Bible from this podium, but Matthew 25 states that how we need to care for the least of these. Okay, that's my concern. That's what I'm going to continue to work toward. People can say or do anything they want. They can try to dog me out if they must. Okay, speak badly about me if they must. Try to discredit me if they must. But you know what? Whatever they do, they can't make a false statement, the truth. They can't do that. Let me tell you, there's an old saying, truth, even as truth is crushed, stepped on, mashed like potatoes, it still will rise as a beacon of light. So the thing is, we got to move forward. And you know what? While we up here, I don't question folks' vote. They vote as they choose. You know what I'm saying? They vote, many times they vote against me. Sometimes it's 5-2, so I can look at it that way. But guess what? I'm going to do what I believe I'm led to do, and I can stand even if I have to stand alone. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bell. Any other council member would like to be recognized? Vice Chair Goins.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I heard a lot of comments tonight, and it was absolutely great. Picked up some key words. One, when you're talking about the veterans, you said for the greater good. Heard another one that said about coming together to fight for a community, and moving forward. We're always talking about moving forward. And one of the citizens mentioned what is necessary to move forward. I've been talking, and we keep talking about the rural areas and on the western area of Fairfield, been talking about water in that area before I even decided to run for council. It's still needed. Part of District 4 has a 29180 address, which means that we are attached to Winsboro. The other part does not, but it doesn't make any difference. Part of it may be a one complexion, another part may be another complexion. It doesn't make any difference. But what does make the difference is that everybody needs clean drinking water. That's a right that everybody must have, not just in Fairfield County and every county in South Carolina, in this nation of America. We have resources to do many things, but that has to be the priority. If we're going to move the county forward, it's going to have to be with bringing the water system together. It's one water system. It's not about anybody controlling anything. I had the privilege of watching the town and the county work together, and they sat at the table. And in that setting, I just listened and I watched as differences were put aside for the greater good. And one person said in that meeting, it's not about who's going to get the money, because it's going to take a lot of money to put the system together. It's not about who's going to get the kudos, but it's about bringing clean drinking water, affordable drinking water, accessible drinking water to every citizen of Fairfield County. I've agreed with many things, and I said from the beginning, whatever good is going on in Fairfield County, I'm going to support it 100%. Now I'm reaching out, and I have not pushed District 4 forward. I haven't done any separation, and I won't do that. But clean water, and that water company, and I'm not talking about anybody personal, the water company is part of God's resources for humanity. That's the way I see it. It's not owned by anybody. It's not a private company. It's just a resource that we bring together for the greater good. I asked before about the county looking into how we managed to do that. Again, somebody said about not giving the public any input in it. So we need to let the public know, yeah, we need clean water, and how do you feel about it? And let them make a choice about it. And I'm sure everybody would agree, yes, this needs to happen. Western Fairfield cannot come in and be a strong part of Fairfield County, all the opportunities that are happening, unless we join water and sewer and all the other amenities, utilities, gas, electric, whatever those amenities are together. That's how we're going to make it. This is not about the generation in the past. This is not about just the generation now, but the generation that's already springing up. And if we don't set a foundation now for them, they'll suffer even more than we are now. So I'm asking council again to work to do whatever it is that we can do to move the county forward together. And that includes all of Western Fairfield, not just District 4, not 3, not any of the others, everybody. That's the only way we're going to survive in this county. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair Goins. Any other council member like to be recognized? Well, if not, I think we got a few items on executive session. Following statement is provided in compliance with the South Carolina Freedom of Information Act. Subsequent to executive session, council may take action on matters discussed in executive session. We have item A, economic development discussion regarding a proposed fee in lieu of tax and associated documents regarding an economic development project with New Nightingale LLC. Item B, economic development discussion regarding a proposed fee in lieu of tax agreement and associated documents regarding an economic development project with Meckerlang, North Carolina, America, LLC. C, economic development discussion regarding a proposed fee in lieu of tax agreement and associated documents regarding the economic development project identified as Project Victory. D, economic development discussion concerning potential contractual negotiations concerning county spec building. E, economic development discussion concerning economic development contractual agreement involving outside agencies. And F, receive legal advice and update regarding pending litigation involving Fairfield County. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
It's been moved and properly second to go into executive session. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We're now in executive session at 7:35.
Okay.